Hey guys, it's Fati-The Afghan Mystic here. If you're feeling stuck, lost, confused, or you just don't know which way to go right now, or you don't feel like you know which way is up, or you feel like you're starting something brand new, whether you know what it is, whether you don't know, you just feel like you are on the verge of something new or starting something new, this message is for you. I already meditated. I already shuffled and set out the cards. And I just want to start off by saying that I don't identify as an astrologer because I'm not. I am somebody who is very intuitive, who identifies, I guess, as more of an intuitive reader, right? I'm multifaceted. There are different aspects. There are so many different versions of me. And right now, I personally have been feeling lost, confused, stagnant. I've been feeling this energy of feeling reborn again, in a sense. I feel like I'm starting my life all over again. I have been out of work for a little over 4 months now. And last week, I just started a super part-time gig at a new crystal shop a couple hours away. And I felt like such a baby, okay? Starting from the bottom, not being the one in charge, okay? If you're somebody who struggles with control, same. But also, it didn't feel like, for once in my life, I didn't feel like I was judging myself. I didn't feel like it was a negative thing to be starting over. I felt hopeful. I still feel hopeful. Today, I feel a little bit off. You know, it's that time in my cycle, but also energetically, you know, we have multiple retrogrades going on. Specifically, a Mercury retrograde, as most people are familiar with. But I feel like not have I only really been called, but I've been forced to slow down, to reevaluate, to reassess, to take a step back and really look at things from like a bigger picture. And I realized that I literally don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I don't really know where to go. I haven't been in like a normal workforce since like 2019. 2019 was like the last time I had like a normal like retail / styling merchandising job. And then, you know, after that, I mean, I had just started that job and then I had other stuff happen like with my family, so I had to leave and I couldn't even like finish the job or, you know, take the job seriously. But I was also at a really transformative and grief-driven point in my life. I had a lot of stuff going on. So the last, I guess, job that I've had, aside from being an entrepreneur, right? And I also took a break from that. I was making crystal jewelry, you know, doing intuitive readings for people, doing all these events, putting myself out there. I did that for a couple of years, probably up until last year. And then last year in 2024, I took a really big break and I was working full-time at a crystal shop in town. And then this March 2025, the Virgo full moon eclipse happened and eclipsed me out of that job, right? So the last 4 months, I've really had to surrender. I've had to surrender. And what does surrender even mean? It doesn't mean giving up, okay? It means having faith and still taking steps forward in ways that feel good for you. But also, I mean, that's been a lesson in itself, is navigating not having steady work, navigating the shifts and the tides and how things have changed, tremendously in the last couple of years especially. But with this, last new moon in Leo that we just had, my guides, pushed me in the direction of calling this other shop, a couple hours away in the old town that I was living in before I moved here. So now I'm commuting again, but that's okay, because I know that I feel like there's going to be a lot for me to learn there. But again, starting over, nothing to be ashamed of. Definitely a strange point in life. It happens constantly. But in this energy, I really just feel like I don't know what I want. I don't know what I'm doing. I took a leap of faith, if you will, in calling and inquiring if this shop needed help. And luckily, the stars aligned. So last week, I started my first 2 shifts. I literally felt like it was my first job. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm 35 years old. My first job was at 17 at a shoe store at the mall in San Diego. And I don't remember what that felt like because it's been so long. But last week I was reminded, and I just felt so anxious. I felt afraid. Like, I felt excited and I felt motivated because I was like, okay, this is going to get me out of the house. It's going to get me, like back in the world, back in society, right? But it was nerve-wracking. Oh my God. Spirit is so loud. My nose, just like won't stop. I feel like somebody out there needs to hear this. God, so bad. So, I did my first 2 days and I felt really great. And I feel like confident. I feel good about like putting myself back out there and starting over and feeling hopeful, feeling renewed, feeling refreshed, feeling like, okay, like I can start my life over again. I'm allowed to start over. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to know like what I want or like what each step is, right? And as a recovering control freak, it's been hard. Last night I woke up in the middle of the night, between like 3 and 4 a.m. I didn't go back to sleep until like probably 4:30. I didn't fall asleep. I was tossing and turning. At that time I felt like, okay, whatever is coming up mentally is like what needed to be released at that time. And I feel like that's usually what it is for me. And I just, all these thoughts of old experiences, old narratives, old relationships with people, like all of these experiences that I had at a certain point in time just all came flooding into my brain at 3 a.m. Okay. Not great, right? Nobody wants to lose sleep over old stuff, but I feel like it's relevant because I feel like when I start to pay attention of like what starts flooding in when like I wake up in the middle of the night and like what thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences, like what is coming up to be released, I usually will journal about it, right? Like I'll think about it, I'll just like let the thoughts come pouring in, and then I'll pull out my notes app and I'll just like, start typing away just so I can, know what that was the next day. But oh my God, it was really interesting. And some cards that I pulled for myself yesterday definitely had to do with releasing the past and moving forward, because I feel like as somebody who has struggled with their mental health, with depression and anxiety and stress, probably my entire life, to be honest with you. And now I'm not taking any medications. I just got off my medications. It's been a couple months, which I'm grateful for this, period of time that I was gifted by the universe to not be working, right? I had to work through so much stuff. But in that time, it also allowed me to take the space and time that I needed to be able to, taper off of my medication so that I really wanted to see if I could do it without the medications, because I've been on medications for almost 6 years. And, at that point in time, I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have the tools. I wasn't in therapy. I had started therapy, but it wasn't like super far in. I wasn't in a place where I felt like I had the necessary tools to be able to help myself. And 6 years later, finally it's been about, I would say at least 3, maybe 4 months now that I have been completely off of my antidepressants. I've been working on incorporating some supplements like vitamins and things like that. I don't consume alcohol. I don't do anything. Like, I am raw dogging life, okay? I'm starting to get back into like learning how to move my body again, because at one point I was a very like avid person in the gym working out, blah blah blah, and then at some point it just, I let it all go, and that's okay. We're all in different seasons, and I mean, life is full of different seasons, right? I don't know why I'm going on this tangent, but I feel like maybe somebody else relates and needs to hear this. So I've been at a point where I feel like I'm starting my whole life over again, right? Like, I'm 35. I'm not working a normal, like, job. I'm not in a corporate world, and I've done all those things. Like, I went to fashion school, okay? I went to the Fashion Institute. I have a degree in product development. I have worked a lot of like retail merchandising my whole life, and it's something that I've been passionate about because I'm very creative, and it has always given me an outlet to showcase that. But I've always felt like there has to be more. Like, I can't always be on the man's clock, right? And there's nothing wrong with people who are. I mean, technically I'm going back and I'm kind of doing that. But it's just been like really hard to navigate that, because in a world that's like so consumed with just everything, how do you find a place where you fit in? How do you figure out what the hell you want to do? Like, I don't like being told what to do. Except in some cases now I'm like, okay, yeah, could you show me how to do this? Like, I don't know. It's been a very interesting season of life to navigate these shifts and like not be so judgmental of myself. But I am somebody who has also struggled with a lot of negative self-talk, negative mindsets, which is crazy because I always thought of myself as an optimistic person. And you can be, but then you can also be depressed, and if you've grown up in a very traditional kind of household where they had traditional values and things like that, and you're not doing the traditional thing like me, it can be really hard on you. Like, even if no one else is hard on you at some point, like, you're hard on yourself because you're trying to live up to all these expectations and to do X, Y, Z, whatever. So, what a time to be alive, right? Where art, creativity, putting yourself out there are normalized in a sense now, which I think is really great. I mean, I am not fantastic with social media. I've been working on it. I'm also the type of person who's super sensitive to energy, so I get overwhelmed and exhausted easily. I get overstimulated. So it's very important for me to be doing things that align with my values, but also align with how I'm feeling energetically at the time. So this was meant to be a reading, which we will get into, but I don't know. I feel like if you're in a place where you don't feel like you fit in, or you don't know where you fit in yet, or you feel like you're starting over, or you want to start over and you just don't know where to begin, there's hope. It's just honestly, baby steps are still steps, okay? And it doesn't always feel like it, but every little step you take in the right direction is still a step forward. And that's something that I have to remind myself every single day, especially right now. Today I wasn't feeling super fantastic, but I was like, okay, talk yourself down, have your tea, drink some water, do yoga, do the things that make you feel like yourself and in your body. And here we are. So I pulled some cards and I feel like they're very hopeful, but I also feel like paying attention to the energy of what is going on right now. Like, we are being pulled in directions of reevaluating, reassessing, and really stepping back and looking at the big picture. Are we happy? Are we content? Are we living authentically? Are we speaking authentically? Are we moving authentically, right? Are we doing things that actually really align with what we feel is our soul purpose? Or are we happy with how we're showing up in the world and how we're showing up for ourselves and, for the people around us? And that's a loaded question, right? Because there's not just one avenue. We are multifaceted creatures. We are having a human experience. There's a lot that goes into this human experience that is honestly exhausting, and I'd rather not, but I've been told that, we signed up for this, and when I get back, I want to see the paperwork. But I'm also doing my very best to fully be in my body and to take advantage and be in this human experience while I am here and to make the best of it, right? So if that means that I can share my light and I can share messages and I can share my story and hopefully that helps somebody else out there, that's what has always been important to me. That has always been a core value of mine from childhood, is to be the person that I never had. And so, I guess that's what I'm doing. So here we are. Surprise. So again, if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling kind of lost, if you've been feeling lethargic or called to slow down and rest, it's not just you. It is definitely, a collective thing that's happening energetically on a soul level for us, but it's meant to help us for our highest good, right? It's meant to help us really step into our authenticity and to step into who we actually are and who we want to be in this lifetime, and be able to take the necessary steps to do that. In relation to my story from last night of waking up in the middle of the night and having all of these memories and all of this heavy stuff flooding in, 8 of Cups. I'm going to try to cover these. They have some pictures on them. So 8 of Cups energy is all about emotions. It's about moving on. It's about letting go, leaving the past in the past, and taking your steps forward to move on. We don't want to dwell in this energy. We don't want to bask in this energy anymore. We don't want to give it any more time, attention, or energy because it's wearing us down. It's worn us down. It's been heavy, right? 8 is getting closer to a number of completion. And 8 is a number of infinity, of our interconnectedness to all that is, right? So I really feel like this 8 of Cups is asking us to really, you know, consider the things that have been hurting us and to allow the space to release those things and let them go so that we can really step forward, you know, into who we want to be and how we want to actually live our lives. We have Crone of Wands here, which is the equivalent to the King of Wands, okay? And that's fire energy, right? That's fire, it's transformation. We have the snake here, which is all about transformation and shedding our skin. Crone of Wands energy is all about the fire within. How do you express yourself? How confident are you? How passionate are you, right? Crone, King of Wands, is an energy of somebody who really embodies their passions, their fiery spirit, their creativity, their sensuality, their sexuality, their movement. You know, really releasing that 8 of Cups energy to step into our most powerful, authentic, creative selves. Here we have, well, this is a different deck for me. This is called the Goddess of Love Tarot that I've been working with a little bit more. Still working on a little bit of the newer archetypes because, you know, they have different equivalents and things like that. So this is the number 8, which is with Leo, typically known as the Strength card, right? So Strength, 8, again, 8. Strength is Leo energy, calling upon your inner lion, calling upon your courage, your strength, your resilience, and really stepping into that power and owning your power and knowing what power you have. And if you don't feel like that, then calling upon your guides, your angels, your ancestors, your spirit animals, your spirit guides to really help, you know, instill that energy within you so that you can feel like that version of yourself. We have the Sun, we have a snake, we have, again, a lion. That's all, you know, transformative energy. And right now we just had that Leo new moon, which is all about cultivating, you know, your authenticity, your strength, your resilience, shining bright, showing up, showing out, being who you are, and using the Sun's energy. Out here in the States, it's summertime. I'm not having the best time going outside because I live in a state where it is very humid, and I'm not a like humid loving girly. I'm originally from the West Coast and now I'm on the East Coast, and that's been a transition in itself. But utilizing the Sun's energy, right? What does the Sun represent? The Sun represents our confidence, our solar plexus, our joy, our positivity, the things that light us up. So really honing that energy and allowing yourself to step into that, which I love. I don't really know what to say about the word lust on here, to be honest, because that word doesn't really resonate with me. But I guess in this aspect, you could think about the things that you're lusting for, the things that you're thirsty for, the things that you want to bring into your life, the things that you want to create and cultivate and experience. Next, we have Crone of Swords, which is also another equivalent of the King of Swords. Okay, so if we're looking at her head, like this is all crown chakra energy, right? This black right here is protection. It's very protective energy. And then we have like a little sliver of purple here, which is your crown chakra, right? That is divine insight. That is divine downloads. That is your intuition. That is you being able to receive divine guidance. Swords are all about your mind. They're all about intellect, logic, focus. You know, using all of those aspects of yourself to really align the vision and bring it down clearly. So King of Swords, Crone of Swords is somebody who is very focused, somebody who is very driven, who is very clear and conscious of what they want to bring in and what they have already brought in, right? And again, if you're not feeling that, you can call upon your owl spirit animals. Owls are all about wisdom. So if you resonate with an animal as an owl as a spirit guide, you know, calling upon your own wisdom, your own intellect, and drawing in that divine connection and clarity from source to be able to give you direction into where you want to go. I also find it interesting. So we have like 8 of Cups, Crone, Strength, which is also an 8, and then a Crone, right? So I really feel like self-mastery, mastering, releasing your pent up old stagnant emotions, releasing all of those thoughts, feelings, beliefs that either people projected onto you or the things that you started believing about yourself that aren't true, right? Just because of old false narratives or the way that people made you feel. Really letting that go. I personally am probably going to do a burn ritual. And what does that mean? Writing down all of the things that no longer serve you, that hurt you, that have hurt you, that you don't want to think about, you don't want to feel. Writing them all down, getting them out there, and burning it in a fire-safe way, of course. Safety over everything, please. And then we have Strength, and then we have, you know, Crone of Swords again. So really honing that strength, that clarity of mind, that focus, that courage, that passion, and using it to lead you to where you're going next. Lastly, we have 7 of Wands. Okay. 7 of Wands energy. I mean, yeah, these are also still 2 fiery animals, right? Also feline friends, tiger, leopard, I think, or cheetah. I don't know, look it up. And then you have like, I feel this is like divine inspiration, but like divine timing, but also divinity as a witness. So 7 of Wands energy is all about standing your ground, remaining devoted to your values, fighting for the things that are important to you, standing on business, right? You're not always, and I'm yelling at myself as this is coming in, you're not always going to please everyone. You're not going to be understood, probably by most people, right? Your visions, the way that you do things, your values, your passion, they're not always going to be understood. And that doesn't matter. Stay devoted to your path. Stay focused. Stay driven. Stay strong and resilient and passionate in your path, because it is unfolding. And the people who are meant to understand that will. But generally, there's going to be a majority of people who won't, and that's okay, because it's not for them. It's your path, right? It's your individual path. We are all on our own individual journeys, and it's a beautiful thing, you know? But 7 of Wands really empowers you, because again, Wands is fire energy. It's action, it's creativity, it's that passion, it's that fire, it's that drive. So you are being called to really commit to your path, commit to who you are, stand your ground, and don't let anybody sway you, okay? I mean, that's what it is, man. I hope this message resonated. If it did, please like, please share, please subscribe. If this is meaningful to you, that would be a great way to help me. Reciprocal energy, right? I'm here to show up for myself and for others, and it would be really beautiful if you could support me in that. And if you feel like someone else needs to hear this message or this resonated, please share, okay? I love you guys, and I don't know, hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Rock and roll. Thanks.